We're pleased to have with us Antonio Corea, who is the winner of the 2018 Rock Indie category. Welcome, Antonio.
Thank you, Alan.
What is it about rock music that interests you?
The energy.
Yep.
The energy. Yeah.
So how do you explain that? Is that stage energy, music energy, singing energy?
All of it, actually. I think growing up in rock and roll myself, you know, as a kid, I think it was always remembering the good times with your mates and getting down to the pub and listen to good rock and roll.
Yeah.
After doing that week of work and that sort of that mundane in society, you know, the stuff that catches you in the way that you are, and then you get to with your mates on a Friday night and you listen to rock and roll. There's something about rock and roll that just brings that essence of life out of you.
So what sort of live performances really influenced you, or recorded artists as well?
Look, I was a big fan of the Angels when I was a kid.
Yep.
Of AC/DC, Bon Scott. So Doc Neeson and Bon Scott were huge and unbelievable frontmen, you know, performers and songwriters.
Yes, they were.
You know, they were awesome songwriters, but they were great performers. They were great entertainers, and they brought to the stage something that you just couldn't take your eyes off.
Yeah, yeah. And did you ever see them live performing?
Well, not Bon Scott, unfortunately. He left us in 1980. But Doc, I saw Doc quite a few times, and I had the honour of meeting Doc as well.
Oh, right.
So okay. Doc was always a massive fan of mine.
Ah, good. And your song is called Honey and Money.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about the story behind the song, writing it, and right through the performance?
Yes, Honey and Money was actually one of those interesting downloads that you get during the day as a songwriter, where you just get this thing come to you. It's a riff, and there's a melody, and there's a lyric, and it's all just jumbling around in your mind. And I remember being at work some time ago now. It's quite a few years ago that I actually wrote the song, started scribbling it down, and I went and bought some lunch and went and sat on Scarborough Beach in Perth.
Yeah.
And I grabbed my guitar out of the car and I went down to the beach and had my lunch and took a pad with me and scribbled what was coming up. And it just, in 20 minutes, I just wrote the song. And it was just there, the riff, the melody, the lyric lines, and just where it was going and the energy of it. I could feel it and hear it.
Yeah. Sometimes they write themselves, don't they?
They do. Like I say, songs don't belong to us; they come through us.
Yeah. Well said.
They come through us. You know, there's, you know, we're very fortunate as songwriters to be the postman, as we might say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And whereabouts do you perform? Do you perform in the West, Fremantle, and places like that?
Yeah, I perform bits and pieces. I haven't done a lot of live performing for some time. I had my original band, and you know, as bands do, they sort of melt away and do bits and pieces. I've done some recordings, but mainly concentrating on songwriting and producing.
Right.
And writing. And writing's a big thing for me. I'm really passionate about writing, and so being obviously having a job as well, you know, working during the day and doing what I do in my own business and so on. It's really hard to have the time to do it all.
Yeah.
So I've kind of emphasised on actually always writing the songs. I've always said, well, you might not have the time to have the band and manage the band and do all that stuff and go on the road, but we can always write, record and produce.
Yeah.
And so I do less performing, but I'm sort of getting to the point now where I'm laying back a bit more off work, and I'm definitely going to get a band together and do a lot more live performing.
Get the band together.
Yeah, getting the band together.
So just looking into your future, where would you like to be, say, in 10 years' time in terms of your music?
Oh, yeah, I mean, why not? Dream big. I'd like the world to experience the songwriting of Antonio Corea, the performances. I'm working on a rock opera at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, which is really out of this world.
Yeah.
And it's really quite inspiring. And so everything I'm writing, I've written quite a few songs for the rock opera, and I'm culling down to a set of songs.
Yeah,
and that project is actually very exciting for me, and very worldly, as one might say. So I'd like to take the rock opera to the world, and to be able to express through song and through interpretation of theatre, and the animation of what theatre can do, and through song to tell a story about this particular rock opera.
Great. Well, that's an ambition.
Yeah, so in 10 years' time, within the next 2 years, I'd like to think that that's actually out there, and within the next 10 years, I'd like to think the whole world has heard it.
The next Tommy or Superstar or...
Well, you can only dream.
That's right.
Why not? It's got to start with the songs.
That's right. Okay. Well, that's great. Thanks for coming in and having a chat with us. Very interesting stuff. So I look forward to hearing you tonight performing.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honour to be here with the Australian Songwriters Association. 2018.
2018. Antonio Corea.